So I'm just downloading the old photos that are on the screen there, so just kind of putting them there because well, you know, they represent you know, a small period of time about 10 years ago. You know, all these photos were taken over the period of when I think about it, it would probably be less than a year. So, you know, about 10 years ago. The ones that I'm starting with would be 10 years exactly because they're the earliest ones and it gradually goes to later. As I scroll, I'm just going to scroll through them because I didn't know how to do that and I just discovered how to do it yesterday, so that will make it quicker because otherwise I've been wasting a lot of time, and time is an interesting thing too. Interesting only in the sense that, you know, without sounding like a fake demigod philosopher, which is mostly the internet, because the internet and the computer has completely combined with the human mind. They basically are retrieving everything from the remaining real life's mind and putting it onto the computer. That way it looks as though the reality isn't what it really is, which is a total artificially intelligent reality, a matrix, which means it's completely controlled, because if you control the human mind, you control the reality, because human thought, as we've been told, creates reality, combined with, as we know, with frequency and vibration, which means with the human feeling, because that's the frequency and vibration. That means how you think and feel and react and what you put out, which becomes like what they then call energy, because they say frequency, vibration and energy make up the so-called universe. But basically it's you know, it's this earth matrix that is completely controlled by the human mind. And the reason that the human mind has been taken over by the artificially intelligent android beings, and even human beings that become so psychopathic that they want to control everything, because, as we know, once we start to think too controlling or too psychopathically, which is the same thing, it's just where you have that that need to control all your surroundings and all your environment. And that's, you know, probably how even unpsychopathic humans feel a lot of the time, because you might think that your environment is controlling you, so therefore you think you should control it, because otherwise it might consume you or take you over or defeat you, which is actually the truth, except that it is that and this will depend on whether you agree with it or not too. Like, many agree with combining with artificial intelligence or with the computer, because it's in their interest in their life for this to be a good thing or a benefit to them. But also, if you are if you have a position of power, or even if you are getting a lot of attention and a lot of admiration and having influence through the use of technology or the computer or the internet or the YouTube, whatever variety, because different ones become popular at different times, because like myself, I might be using only the YouTube, so therefore that will become more popular. This is indirect influence from a human being, even though the human being's mind, I wouldn't say has been taken over, but it has been taken over in the sense that if your thoughts and your ideas and your frequency and vibration is being controlled, which there's no doubt about that, and if the internet is really a false, presenting a false persona of what the ones that are on there really are. In other words, if they're projecting or talking about other people's ideas, proclaiming them to be their own, or even if they're not proclaiming them to be their own, attributing to other demigods who are also false, because much of the history is changed so that we think that the internet is all valid, and that even you're those that that are telling you what the facts or even the possibilities of life is, or in other words, what's happening in the earth or what has happened in the earth in the past, a lot of that has always been constructed too. I was shown this a couple of years ago in a kind of little movie which I was recommended to watch, and it basically showed that everything has always been controlled for a long time. It's just that we think that it's all random, and none of what we think that goes on in the world is as random as what we think, and most of it is, a lot of it is staged to control the human mind. This might sound very far-fetched, but it did show this in this little movie, and also I see it in my reality around me, in my local environment or wherever I go. So there's no reason for me to not assume that if that's a totally staged, controlled environment all around me, why not everything else? And I know it's all staged and controlled on the internet because I see so much reflected back to me. Sometimes instantaneously. So this is what's happening. And this will depend on how many real life humans that are positive in nature or still have some potential for positivity, or like myself, want to be positive. I may not feel it, and because I'm controlled and my mind has been taken over not only by the matrix around me, in other words, that means by the local controlling so-called real human beings, and it doesn't matter, as I've said before, it wouldn't matter if they were just all very psychopathic in nature and were allowed to run amok, you could say, or almost like operate in where they're bullying and controlling and stalking and trying to affect the future by controlling you, by creating havoc in your life, by always distracting you with minor disturbances and even major disturbances, sending noise and patrol systems around you so that you are always agitated and unhappy. But that wouldn't probably matter, but it is not like that. It is actually, now I'm not saying there aren't some individual freelance psychopathic narcissistic types of people that actually are individual and are not combining, but I think that there is, there's either so much total mind control, because I was told that some areas in parts of the world in the United States that whole cities are totally mind controlled. I believed it, but didn't fully comprehend it or accept it. But it would even make sense in my own area, even though it doesn't always look that way, because as a human being you take everything personally, so you don't accept that everyone is totally mind controlled, or that most are. But that may or may not be so. Personally, I do see now it could still be mind control, but I definitely see a 100% collaborative community or city. But I don't go all over the city of Sydney, so I am completely controlled by the inner west, which is like many suburbs surrounding my suburb. So it's a certain area which I know is a total control zone, that it is a military operation in practice every day, even though it looks like a random normal suburb. If you're not walking with me all the time, but it is a military operation. It's an army basically control system or operation, is that the right word, going on in this suburb and even the adjoining suburbs, 100% around myself, for instance, all the time. And they are all collaborative. Every single person, almost without exception. There are maybe a few exceptions, but I don't always encounter those people. They would probably be segregated from me, or at least kept to where I certainly can't get any support or benefit from them, even if I have an inkling. But of course the name of the game is to make you feel paranoid like they are, where they're watching all the time, and to where you can't relax, to where you don't trust anyone. That's the name of the game too, because if you realise that the whole area is in collaboration and in a systematic stalking patrol system around a human being, which there's no doubt about that. The precision is very to where everywhere you look, your mind is taken over by either bright lights, flickering lights, which is a form of mind control, because we see that on the television where they flicker the lights and you basically, you lose your thinking. That's a good way of taking over your mind, because you get disorientated by the flickering bright lights. This is employed by all the vehicles, particularly of a night time. In the daytime, it's more sound, so the vehicles make loud sounds, even though they leave their lights on too. But obviously, the bright, hugely bright headlights and the lights all over vehicles, which never used to be, is used to maximum effect in the night, because the element of sound might not be as strong. But actually it is with the vehicles. If you walk like in my area, where most of the roads are reasonably busy, even though they shouldn't be busy. They're busy because all those vehicles are not going anywhere. They're part of a stalking patrol system. That's why they come one after the other, huge trucks, more buses than what actually fit the even routes. I mean, I see buses coming up and down at times when they couldn't possibly be on their normal bus routes. This is because the whole bus depot is basically an army base. When I say army, I mean that all those bus drivers are essentially plain clothes or pretending to be either workmen or bus drivers driving vehicles, and but they are using those vehicles not just to pick up a passenger, but to stalk and patrol and try to mind control the human being so that they can keep control of this area, because only the human being has the potential for the higher frequency and vibration. In other words, they want to keep it in no frequency and vibration, or in low frequency and vibration, to where they have full control, because they are negative anti-life beings. They're AI machine beings, most of them. And the rest are controlled psychopathic narcissists that automatically tend to operate negatively against other human beings, whether they're part of it or whether they're even operating independently. This is my own observation. This is why it's essential. You can't always change how people think, that's right. But if you are a totally artificially intelligent android being, that's not possible anyway, because they don't think in terms of positive human emotions. They only mimic and copy and imitate that in order to be a perfect imitation of real life, as we've said before. They do that only to keep control of the remaining humans, so that real humans think they're interacting with other real humans. And that will depend on the numbers. From my own observation in the area where I live, which is in Leichhardt, which is situated in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia, there are very few real life human beings. Some people might say, how can you judge or gauge this just because people are around you? Well, I judge and gauge it because of the obvious actions of them, that they are part of a control patrol force. If they are always popping up in your line of sight at a particular moment. And, I could use a million examples of this that happen every day. When I say every day, I mean like all day, every day, but a million examples, millions over the last few years. It's like if I say, oh, look, I'm not going to walk on that side of the road because I know that I might bump into, so-called people in houses that I might have to interact with, like if they're on your street and if they speak to you, you can't avoid that negative exchange, because it will be a negative exchange if they're not a real human being. And if you know they aren't, because you've seen their actions as part of the controlled patrol force or a stalking patrol force, you know this. So you might say, oh, well, look, I don't have to speak to other people on the other side of the road. But then you will see that the people from the other side of the road will pull their car in onto the other side of the road and just randomly get out, even though they wouldn't normally do that, as soon as you come past, so that you cannot avoid it, because you can't control, that's right, the vehicles. You might say, oh, so what I'm trying to say is, no matter how you try to avoid this matrix in an area, it's not possible if most people are part of it, and they are. This is how you know this, because I only have to think it and then say, look, I'm going to walk, just if I was outside, I might say, I'll just walk on the other side of the road today, or I'll just go up this part of the park down the end of the street. And a neighbour will just pull their car in for no reason. Like if you understood the practicality of it, you'd realise that it's not real, that it's not something that people would do. People don't get in their car and just go down to the end of the street, then pull in and get out and walk nowhere and then get back into their car. It doesn't even make sense, but they don't care that. They know that you're the only one that sees that. But they also put you in the position where you either have to speak to them and pretend everything's normal, or ignore them, and then they rage because they have the machine superiority mentality and the control mentality, because if they don't get the negative energy out of you, or get either the admiration or the negative energy out of you, but it's all energy, you see, because they're like consuming energy because they're a dying species. That's how it works, I think. Well, I know that it does, but I can't speak as though I'm an expert, because I'm just a person that's been stuck in the middle of this. I'm not like your demigods that are like expert psychologists and doctors of this, or even just people that proclaim to have been studying it for a lifetime. No, it's just I've had to piece it together based on reality. Over the experience of it being exposed to me over the last 6 years. I've had to try to figure out why I'm being stalked and controlled. And of course, gradually over time, I realised that it wasn't just the so-called random people in the area and the vehicles and the planes and the whole thing. You realise that it's all with such precision wherever you look, that they are connected with your mind. They're using your mind and what you think to know what you're doing at every split second. They know where you're going to look, even in a split second. There's no way that they could have the cars parked in the right spot with the blinking lights flashing to get the mind control over you, unless they already knew that you were going to look there before you look. This is how I know that it's a total artificially intelligent system of some sort, where they're using advanced technology, but they're combined with the human mind. This, completely. It's not just that they're combined by using the internet and the computer. They do it even at an unseen level. Most people don't see it on the computer or the internet either. I wouldn't if I didn't see it blatantly relayed back to me daily. But it took me quite a while to actually see that, because a lot of the time it's like everything. You put a lot down to coincidence. You say, oh, well, that's similar to what I was thinking. Of course, they put it more eloquently and more succinctly, as they say, because that's what the AI system does. And they give it to their demigods or anyone that's on the computer that will elicit attention or views, or get them to watch on the computer to where you focus on it. Like I say, some might be more successful than others at that, but that's not really the point. If you really think of it as a spiritual game being played against real life by an AI system around human beings that they're unaware of, then the numbers, they're only after basically real life to be connected to the computer, or real life to be watching it or believing in it or trusting it in some way. Or, it doesn't matter what your reason for watching. And it's the same around you. Like at a real life level, the android beings want to befriend you or want to get your attention from you. If it gets to like where with myself, where I'm trying to avoid most people, then they bring in the stalking patrol system around you very strongly, because they know that they're not going to be able to get you to personally interact with them, and therefore they, where they can control you through a personal relationship or a personal interaction. Of course, we're all still confined to some personal interactions, so basically they will control you that way. But it's a game to them, and they all vie for the dominant position to some extent, I would think. And sometimes, it's a game. And of course, because human beings basically, even though they know what you're going to do, human beings are still unpredictable by their standard, because, you're not an AI machine being that is collaborating with everyone else, and where you like control and you like a limited, controlled reality. Like myself, I've been forced into a limited control reality, but I always knew that it wasn't life. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was normal. Whereas if you're an AI machine being, you not only think that's normal, but it's the only way they feel comfortable or at peace. They don't like human beings showing their potential for positive human emotions, because it rocks their reality. It rocks the potential for them to keep their negative, dark, low frequency reality going, or their control, because high frequency affects the reality, or any sort of positive human emotions or any form of love affects the reality. They're all high vibrations, you see. We know this. We know this. We know that when, people have said good or bad vibes for years. It's just that we don't realise that it affects just more than just even that personal relationship. It makes you feel good if you get a good vibe off someone. But the android artificial beings have everything in reverse. They're dead dark beings. They don't feel positive vibrations. They only enjoy negative vibrations, and they demand control. Control is limiting vibration, really, limiting frequencies, limiting everything, keeping it the same. They don't like the reality that human beings fluctuate with their emotions. They want everything the same. They want everything, and that's why they try to control you with, and that's why they have controlled us over a lifetime with what's around you, because they want to keep you the same. They want to keep you doing the same things. They don't like it if you show any potential to break free with any sort of, positive feeling, because they don't understand that. It doesn't vibe with them. It's like with human beings, it's a reverse world, but with human beings, we don't like it when things make us unhappy or depressed. With the artificial android, machine beings, they don't like any good feeling or any, they don't understand that. They don't like it. It doesn't vibe with them. It makes them feel unhappy and uncomfortable, and it makes them want to exert more control to get their stable, control, dark, anti-life, low frequency, low vibration, negative energy reality going. In other words, they want to keep human beings unhappy, because they basically are comfortable in an unhappy state. But unhappiness to them is like control. because they feed off negative energy. Negative energy is very strong for them. It makes them feel more powerful. It makes them know that they control the reality and that they have superiority and dominance over real life, because they know that it's a reverse world, that real life is really the centre and should be the controller of the reality, because only real life can bring up the frequency and vibration. If you don't believe in love, put it that way, and this is just, and let's be honest, they set it up so you experience only negative love relationships. So like myself, you try to avoid it, but that's the name of their game. You know, if you don't believe in love and you don't seek it out and you don't really have the emotions for love, you don't really feel for another human being or for any sort of life, you know, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to understand or want that vibration. You're not going to want that. You're going to see it as something, you know, if you don't understand something, you fear it, you know. It makes an android very uncomfortable to see love in other human beings. That's why they want you to interact only with them, because they know that they're not capable of giving or experiencing love. But they know that if they can fake it, then you might fall for it, and then they have control over you. Then they have taken over the situation. It's a very clever acting stage game that takes place around us. And I'm just going to stop here because I was just going to show all these old photos. But I'm not going to show them. I'm just putting them on here, just, you know, just because I got that urge to do it. So there's no, so it's time to tune out unless you want to look at just photos that were taken 10 years ago on an old broken camera that was kindly given to me, but it did break down after a year. So these photos were all taken about 10 years ago, and just very locally too. This, of course, all the ones of the animals mainly taken, of course, inside the house mainly, or just outside, whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's not. I know these things, so I don't know why I'm saying them, but I'm just filling in time while I show the photos. It just, I'm going to try to, if only I could frame these things better, I would be, I know I'm not framing them well. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, that dear dog, that wonderful, magnificent Simba dog, totally blind and in very choppy water, can you see, retrieving a ball. He was like getting old by that time too, but blind, and went out into the choppy water to retrieve that ball. Oh, because that water was quite choppy. That's only got the one photo. There was a few photos, but the rest seemed to have disappeared. I didn't take that photo, but I was shown it when they came back. But that water is never choppy. That is actually like very still, murky water normally, but there must have been a very strong wind blowing up that day. And I can't believe that dog, blind, is retrieving that ball. And you can see he's got the ball and he will come into the little shore there. after going right out into the deep water to retrieve it. At such an age too, because he was, that's the last photo on the camera. I know that because for some reason it's gone back to the last photo. I'll have to, I think it's almost haunting to see that photo, to actually realise. It must have gone back. See all the photos now. I've got to go. Oh, for some reason this I think they're playing. I don't know whether I'm messing it up or whether they're playing with it, but I'm just going to show. There's so many photos that are blurry and not much good. There's, there's, maybe a couple of hundred photos, maybe more, but, at least half of them are like out of focus, but you just get that one that's in focus of a particular, until you get the right photos. I used to just keep clicking away on the camera for about half an hour. And this photo wasn't taken by me anyway. This was, the owner of the dog took him down to that water. It's hard to understand these things sometimes, Maybe that's just me, but anyway, I'm just going to show the photos without doing a story or a monologue. It just brings back confused memories for me, that's all, because it's a fair while ago, and of course, being in this local matrix that's around me, even memories and things that have happened do confuse and disturb you. And I'm using the word almost haunt you, but, the demigods will use all those words too. I notice that every time I think of a particular word, the demigods will say something different, but they will throw in the mind control using words that you've used on the computer. And some people would say, well, that's just coincidence, surely. But no, it's not when you see them using words that you just used the day before, and they know that they're trying to connect with your mind for the what they call transhumanism. That's where they want their machine beings to combine with the human mind in their hope of getting control and longevity and influence, which is the same as control. Basically, they're doing all that, and they are doing it. They're doing it. They do it. I'm just going to have to wind through until I get to the better ones, because oh, wait on. Here we go. I'm not sure. I'll try to. I think what's coming up here, and this was like very early in the morning when the sun was just coming up, when I just happened to walk through here about 10 years ago. It's not that far from here, but they've demolished all of this now. When I say demolished it all, which is interesting that they demolish a lot of things that I actually took notice of. But I didn't think it was a particularly lovely spot or anything. It's just that that particular morning, the sun come up, and it probably always comes up in that spot. And I was interested to play with the sun with the camera at that time, and I had it in and the sun was coming up, and I thought, I didn't even look at the sun, I just snapped these pictures, so I didn't know. But I saw the birds sitting right on the edge there, and I thought I want to get all the birds and things in. And as the sun hit the water, it did look quite, it looked, you know, really glowing, and I thought it would take a picture that, well, that at least I thought was okay, you know, and so I didn't know if the sun would blur out the picture or if it would turn out, but I just took a chance because I didn't care, and basically it didn't turn out too bad at all because you can still see the birds and all the rest of it. And I thought it was actually, I really, when I actually looked at the photos, I thought that's good. I liked it. So I was pleased with these particular ones. Most of the others not, but these particular ones I did. And it was only there for about a half an hour, and I just kept clicking. And the birds, and there were even ducks. I'm pretty sure some ducks. So I'll just try to get these pictures. I don't know if I'm getting them in. But the sun also is interesting because many people talk about the sun now, and this was like 10 years ago, and I still say that the sun looked different 10 years ago to what it's looked in more recent times. But many more that know more than me understand all that a lot more, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I have noticed that, and that's maybe a change in the reality somehow, but I can't speak on that really. I'm not going to, I could just let it go in my mind and speculate, which I often do, but that's only when I feel that what I'm saying probably is true. But either way, I just want to show the photos, so I don't want to really get into the, that side of the reality. I'm just doing photos here, and this is what I'm trying to do instead of the usual, because I'm I have to go, actually having trouble doing this. Am I even getting these photos in? I know I'm not framing them well. I want to frame them properly, but I can't see because my hand is covering the picture, unfortunately. This is what's annoying me here, that I can't show them well enough. See, that one's all blurry. That's blurry, that one. See, so I'll have to wait till, see how I've got many blurry ones? Just waiting to, because I just kept taking them, and now that one is clear, see? So with a bit of luck, if you keep snapping, you'll get the clear one. But that's all gone now. They've put a pathway through there. I went there a few years later, more than a few years later. We just went there one day with the dog, strangely enough, when he was still here. And they've actually put a walkway through all of that now, so if I went there now, you wouldn't be able to film this. It's actually a bike track, which has surprised me a bit, but it made sense in a way because of the amount of patrollers that go round there. I'm not sure, I suppose the patrollers have to, they still have, even when they're not patrolling around me, they still have to keep themselves active, etc., I suppose. I don't know if I'm getting this right. But there were all those seagulls there, and see, it's actually quite, see if I can get it closer. Oh. Oh, I just know that I'm not, see, I need to have, sorry about that, but it's just so hot in here because I'm bending over and I've got a very sore shoulder. and I've got to use two hands because I've got to use this thing, see, on one hand, and I'm a bit incompetent anyway with all this, and whereas if I could just hold this more, but I can't do that, you see, because I've got to have two hands and I'm trying to film it and then I can't see what I'm framing either. Oh. Come on. Flicking through the blurry ones quick. Maybe I should have stopped there because the sun might have been interesting on that. It's the same spot, it's just that it's just where, it's the same spot, but it's just that it's... the ducks are coming there, see? Can you see that the ducks are coming there? Oh, that was quite a spectacle. I couldn't even look at the camera. I remember I couldn't look at the sun, it was so bright. And I just didn't look, and I just put the camera up and didn't even look at what I was actually clicking. I just pressed, you know, the photo. Of course, I thought the sun might blur it all out, but it did, but it didn't. It was good. See the ducks coming in? So you had ducks and birds there, which I thought was, and then the sun coming right up on the horizon, really bright and big, and making the water glow, which was, you know, that particular morning. And I didn't take any others or go there the next morning, even though I'm sure the sun comes up there. But like I say, it's all gone now. A lot of the things around that where I did take these few photos, it's all gone now. I can't do this. Bending over here is very hard. Taking a lot of energy. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, which is why I should be able to do this really well. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's quiet naturally inside the house here, but I'm still having difficulty, which is funny. Oh, well, funny, but not funny. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Just look at these. I'll just do the photos. Oh, it's a pity that I can't frame these things properly. Can't stay in this position. I'm gonna keel over here. I'm just too old for this. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry only for myself, because I just wanted to do these photos clear so that I can get them in clear focus, but I don't know if I am, and I'm just physically not able to do it. Oh, Jesus. So, is the sun there in that too, I think? It was very spectacular little sun there. I can't. Oh dear. Just hold on. very hot. It's like 100 degrees in here, even though it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so it should be a bit cooler, and it is quiet though. But just but I wonder if the sun still looks like that in that same spot 10 years later, because the sun definitely looked more impressive like 10 years ago, even though I couldn't actually look at the sun when I took these photos. I just put the camera up and didn't look because it was too bright, and I didn't, it probably would have blurred out on the screen, but strangely enough, a certain amount of them did come out clear, and even the ducks and the birds have come out. Not all the photos, probably half were out of focus and stuff on this particular screen, but okay, let's see if I can. Sorry about the sorry that I can't frame these things so well. I'm sorry for myself that I can't frame them. I won't even know if I've got them in properly. I can see that I'm getting, but see, I know what I should do. I should just put the other thing down and see if I could do it more slow. See I could do it more slow, but I see I've got to have two things, and my hand is actually losing. Oh, wait on. Oh, that was the dog again. Why was he? No, hold on. Don't understand what happened there. It's gone back to the start. Okay. It's sideways, that one's sideways. Not getting these, framing these. I can't see what I'm framing. That's probably what's, just wanted to get the pictures straight in the album, as they say, but I'm not able to do it. So, I could see whether I'm getting it. Sorry that I'm not getting it in. Funny, I could see what I'm. It's nice to oh, it's a long time ago now. And of course, we were never really living in the moment to kind of, fully jointly appreciate, the moments. And also sometimes when you're taking photos, you're actually concentrating more on getting a photo too. So that's probably true of quite a lot of the photos that are on here. Like I was, particularly when you're trying to frame a photo and stuff like now, you're not really enjoying what you're doing, which, because you're concentrating on trying to, frame a photo. Same when you take it, like mainly I was always like, got to just frame it right, and try to get them in focus. But mind you, the little old pocket camera was pretty good at most of the time getting, it was only if you had like, I say, like where you had scenery where, like I say, even with the sun, it's always, if you've got to get the right spot and the right, but usually what you see with the naked eye should come out reasonably the same as what you should when you press for a photo, provided your camera's okay. And even this old pocket camera of 10 years ago, which was half broken, was still better in the clearness, from what I can see, than quite a lot of even the, cameras on the mobile, because this mobile that I'm taking these off, I have to get it right in the right spot to get the right picture. It's not as clear as like even the old little pocket camera even, which is just interesting. I just noticed that. But of course that depends on how much you pay for the mobile too. You can get better. I was told this, and I know this is so, because I know this is so. I just have to stop here a bit, I think, because I have to bend over too, because the TV screen is lower than, it makes it difficult. If I was younger I could do this quite easily, but I'm a bit not, It's my old slippers in the background there. I sure got a lot of use out of those little thong things. I wore them till they fell apart because they were so comfortable. They were a good little present there. Present for me. Something you use and find comfortable. Because normally I just wore rubber thongs, but they were very good. Just noticed them there in the background, but that was like 10 years ago, geez. But I had them for quite a few years. I wore them for every day for a few years before they fell apart. And, these were all taken, you know, just one day. Didn't always take. Plonked a little hat on just for, you know, like people do with the animals, which, you know, which just scrolling through. Don't even remember this, strangely enough. I think that might have been someone running through that picture even now. I can't see. This is the morning. I've took these before, but when there was just this amazingly spectacular sunset, or sunrise should I say, sunrise. The sun was coming up and you could just see it was like just covered the whole area in this yellow, orange, gold glow. But it was spectacular as it broke through these clouds, and it was just happened that I just went there randomly walking past one early morning, which I didn't do much, and I just happened to have the little pocket camera, and I could see from the minute I looked at the sky that this sun was breaking through, and it looked much more spectacular even to the naked eye. And I seem to have lost a few of the better photos here. They just disappeared. I don't quite know. Maybe someone else took them for use, but that was just as it was just starting. And I even ventured down onto the little bit of sand, which I was timid to do, because I knew that I couldn't get the photos unless I went down. It was only like 20 feet, but you still had to go down onto it, and not a lot of people did, because most of this water looks really nice, but it's actually, you know, not like very pure water at all. It's quite murky. Some of it worse than others, but you know. But this was just as it was. I'll just try to get through these if I can. See, this is starting to, it's all just taken in the space of about an hour as this sun broke through this cloud. And even a professional, I've mentioned this before, that people watch, because I was just walking randomly along there one morning, and I rarely walked this actual route. But not wanting to come home too soon, I ventured just a bit further round the corner, and there was no one around. But it showed that they read your mind and were watching even then, because a photographer went down right in front of me onto the sand, and with a big camera and on a tripod, and took a few photos and then disappeared and got the best photos, because, you know, like I say, they wouldn't have known it was going to happen, just as I didn't, but I just happened to be walking along. But that shows you that there's a bit of a matrix, you see. Even back then, 10 years ago, when I thought that it was just a random natural world and I was just someone walking along past this water that's not that far from my home, and this spectacular sun was breaking through these clouds, and I had the pocket camera in my little bag, and I just kept pressing the photo button one after the other, hoping that the pictures would capture that spectacular, because it was very spectacular. I've never seen anything before or since it. And it was interesting that these ones, the sun was coming up, but I was out of focus. It took me a while to focus it, shall we say, or to get it clear. That's why these are a bit blurry. There will be some, but they'll come good. But it was just like, just for about half an hour, it was like very, oh, there's a few seagulls down there on the thing. Naturally, I got taken in to take a few of the seagulls. Oh, I just have to stop for a second. My hand is gone numb here because I'm holding the mobile too much. You know, I need a little thing to put on it so I can hold it. Also, I could frame these pictures better, but I just don't seem to be able to get one, so I can't see if I'm framing them. My hand is... It takes a long time getting through like a couple of hundred photos. And not all of them are in focus, but they will, you know. Some of these photos are kind of making me feel... I don't know why I'm feeling a bit, almost a bit ill looking at them, which is funny. I don't know why that would be. Normally when I used to, and I've actually lost half the photos too. There was double this amount of photos, but I don't know where the rest have all gone. But I didn't put them on the stick, so perhaps there was too many, and but there was other photos too, which I'm only sorry that that quite a lot of that half the photos are, you know, like maybe not, you know, because like I say, you click until you get a good photo, and you hope that a good photo comes out. Eventually, if you're looking at a very interesting sunrise or sunset, you will get you know, a good photo. There's no reason you shouldn't if the camera's okay. And this little pocket camera was actually very good. Here the sun is starting to break through this cloud. It was very spectacular to see it, and you wouldn't see it very often. It was just one of those fluke things that happen, I guess, you know. But I did have photos of the busy Parramatta Road, which is now like full of the patrol force, the control patrol, annoying, loud vehicle, traffic control force. That's what I say, because all the big trucks and things that go day and night on that road, huge things. Admittedly, they are transforming Leichhardt and the adjoining areas, but they're always pulling. But that's all part of the control. You know, they pull things down and put things up for reasons. You know, there's always reasons. Of course, most people would say, well, of course there's reasons why they pull something down and build something new. But the reasons are not always what you would just think. But most of the time we don't think much when they pull something down and put a new building up. It probably makes sense a lot of the time too. You'd probably say, well, you know, it's practical, and it's might even, people will see it as actually better. But anyway, forget that. I have to talk while these are on, otherwise it's, I don't know, otherwise it might be a bit dull. See how that's breaking through the clouds there, the sun, and there were all boats there, even low. You know, there's a lot of boats on this water area around. It's not water you can go into. The dogs obviously might go in, and many of them do around, but people don't tend to. There is one spot where they have like an outdoor enclosed bars where people actually do swim, but that's about the only one that is. Most just walk past it like myself. See, the sun's breaking through there. It did actually, you know, I can't remember it now in a way. That's why it's good to always take a few photos, because you either forget things, like I wouldn't even remember this probably if I hadn't took the photos that morning, because it was only one morning about an hour, and you know, you may or may not remember a spectacular sunrise, but I was interested when I was given the little camera to take a few photos around, and I'd never really looked at scenery much before, so it was kind of novel for me for a while. And it was just something to fill in time, but I kind of, because I hadn't looked at much scenery in my time and, you know, avoided a lot of life, even looking at it, it was almost, even though I've always been fascinated by water and different scenery, I mainly would look at it, yes, on a screen or on a computer or on a movie or something, thinking that that was better than the real thing, or maybe it was just easier or safer or something due to fear. So it's interesting that, well, I say it's interesting and it sounds, oh, never mind. I sound a bit pretentious, I think. I feel pretentious. The sun's coming up. It's coming up. I'll just try to get these few. Yeah, but what I was saying was it was interesting that it was interesting this way, that if I had those photos of Parramatta Road where I took a lot of a road. See, clearly back 10 years ago, I didn't find that Parramatta Road, which I now see as a army patrol force, I didn't see it that way 10 years ago. So it shows that it's changed, because I took photos of that road, which was always a busy road, and found it pleasant, even photogenic. I had this little camera, and because I used to walk there, as I still do now, often walk along that road. Now it's turned into this, it's almost like going into a different world, where it's disturbing and unpleasant, and every vehicle is antagonistic and a stalking, patrolling vehicle. Was back then, I took all those photos which had disappeared, which showed that the traffic was different, and that I actually didn't find even a busy road unpleasant. In fact, found it pleasant enough to want to take photos of it. The lights on the cars and the vehicles interested me. Whereas now they're disturbing and blinding. Maybe that's why the photos have disappeared, so that I can't show that the road was totally different. It should be quieter, because they're built all underground tunnels that take all the traffic, but instead it's like, it's loud, it's disturbing, it's chaotic up there. It's unpleasant, to where you really need to stuff stuff in your ears, which I often do, just to endure it. And even then, their presence around, the negative energy that comes off those vehicles, every vehicle, it's like a negative army around you. That's the only way, and I'm not exaggerating. It might sound like that, but to me it's not. But, you know, many people might say, well, that's your problem, and they do. Breaking through until we get the pictures where it's all covered in gold, the whole area, all the water and everything just gets a gold. It just covered the whole area with this, because the sun almost became like huge and broke through the clouds, and just it was very unusual, and I would think quite rare. And I just happened to be walking past at that early time, and this particular spot where it happened, because it just came up right there, and I just was lucky enough to have the camera in my bag at the time, because I didn't take it with me most days. But yeah, so you get a few landscape photos that where, like I say, that sun would not happen every day there at all like that, not at all. Not at all. been where I decided to do one on the... Unfortunately, you can't put those upright. Oh. I keep saying that I should be able to just, in an hour, get through all these photos, but I'm having trouble doing that, even though I've yesterday realised that you can scroll it on the side rather than... Because it takes a lot longer otherwise if you do it, you know, because it takes a little while to load or whatever it is, I don't know. But I'm still having difficulty getting through them. Okay. Can't see what I'm filming here. If only I could get that thing going. Oh, I don't think I'm filming these right. I'm just not framing it right. Am I getting it in or not? Oh, now that was accidental. I just clicked onto that because I was trying to get back, and now it's scrolling through automatically. Something happens every... See, I'm completely computer illiterate, as you can see, but look at this. This is much better. Now I can just... this just happened. Oh, now it's doing it, and I don't have to touch it. This is good. I should see if I can just hold on here, see if I can just... it's a bit fast, but I'll just put this down and see if I can get these photos. What do you know? If anyone else would know how to do this except me, but it's just happened automatically where that come up. See, I don't understand even how to do, but this is much easier for me because at least I can hold the thing. Okay. I seem to have lost all those photos though, haven't I? Or did I? Should be some more, shouldn't there? This is after the sun has... this is all taken in about an hour or two, all these photos, maybe 50 photos or maybe... But see, this was after the sun stopped with being golden and just became more normal. But I still kept taking the photos, I don't know why. It probably still looked all right to my eye, you see. But I'm just gonna... Doesn't matter. These are just the photos and they're just coming up, all that have been taken, so... I'll just leave it, if I can frame it. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, if I'm framing this properly at all, I can't see. Oh, no, I'm not framing these pictures properly. Yeah, the sun finally went back to normal, but I kept just clicking away at the photos. You know, I knew I wouldn't be back, so I guess I just, you know, like it all kind of looked I'm quite sure why I'm and the I didn't even realise that the seagulls, you know, are like ducks and can sit on the water, because I was always like just in the city where there's no water, so I didn't actually realise, oh, these are the ones of the white pigeons, which I didn't know this 10 years ago when I took these ones that white pigeons, you know, are white doves. There was only 2 of them there, and I think, and there was 1 black one. So, yeah, so there was 2 of them and 1 black one. But you know, I learned recently that white doves are really only white pigeons. And that's why I took these photos that day. I saw them a few times and I made a... And they just must have been in that spot. I don't know. But I haven't been there for a long time. But I don't know if they'd still... Well, 10 years, I don't know. The sun used to bounce off the water back then, like it would make the water all silver. It was sometimes you'd have the entire water like all silver. I remember that, so I did take a few photos a few times there. It's a white pigeon, which is a white dove, symbol of peace, and yet pigeons are like so common, but they're not as common as what we think, perhaps. I don't know. It's all how you look at things, isn't it? I'm sitting up. There, see, the sun was hitting the water there. Yeah, when it hits the water there, it, you know, you just have to be in the right spot where the sun comes up. Once you know, they always say sunrise and sunset's best time to take a photo if you want to take, you know, and, you know, because out of focus there. It's, it's actually a bridge just not far from here, the Lane Cove Bridge, where the lights from the bridge were reflecting all over the water, but the camera didn't, capture what you saw with the eye because I had it on the wrong setting. So should have went back and tried again, because I suppose most of the time you would be able to get that same picture, because the bridge is always there with the lights on and it would always reflect in the water, but I didn't bother. But it's a big bridge, takes a lot of traffic, and it goes over the water. And I just have to wait for these to scroll through, and hopefully there might be some clearer ones. Oh dear. I download them because, at my age you never know how long or if you'll be able to do it tomorrow, because I'm having difficulty now. These ones might be slightly better when they get a bit clearer. No, not these lot, but a bit further along that same spot will be shown clear. And there was a moon in the sky in the early morning, and the moon's only there probably once a month, like over the spot. That actually is the moon, but it didn't turn out. But it will turn out in some clear ones that were taken a little while later. This is all like, that photo is not what, these photos are not actually taken by my camera at all. I don't know why they're even there. But these are all, but these are just in the house, but I just don't think that they turned out as clear, but they will get clear, yeah. Okay, here we go. It's just right here, in fact, just here, right under the TV was where these photos of Simba dog were taken. Oh, never mind, that's where, oh, never mind. Oh, sorry about that, didn't say that. Oh dear. That was after, Simba survived quite a few life-threatening situations. And amazing. taken time here. Mm. 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 These might be better. See the moon? That little ball in the thing there is the moon. Oh, oh, same spot. Waiting for the sun to come up, coming up gradually in this spot where the moon was big ball in the sky, but photos don't show it as big, unfortunately. Oh, 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 that's a ball. Oh, sorry, I just having trouble bending. Okay, there it is, clear now, coming good. Photo's getting clear. Oh. 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 It's all gone now. They had to demolish all that to make way for the City West Connects underground tunnels that are all under the city now, and that entrances and things for that whole area around there is now like it's just all concrete and looks like it actually looks like and it almost looks very concrete and very technical and very material. It's totally changed because I hadn't been around there for a few years, even though it's not far from here at all. Even on foot it doesn't take long, but it's just totally changed. Oh, that was the dear Simba dog after major operation. Or is that on the way down? I think it's on the way down. He was quite sick. He was nearly it's nearly finished, but there he is. Oh. It's actually in the vet, I think. He's coming back. That was quite, you know, that was it's an old church. Oh. Dolls. Oh. 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 What the photos a bit out of focus, so if I stand back they look clearer. Oh. Oh. Having a bit of difficulty with my, you know, I should really be doing this when you're physically a bit better. I should have done this, you know, quite a few months ago before, you know, I had physical difficulties, you know, or at least, you know, with holding the camera and stuff. Oh, these are better. These are a bit better, these ones. So I'll come in for these. Some better ones, aren't they? A bit better photos, those. We didn't have any clear skies for quite a number of years. It was like smoggy, the skies around Leichhardt and even that next suburb, which is like where these photos were taken. But I wonder if it's still clear when you're cuddling out. Is the sky affected by frequency and vibration? Of course, we had murky, cloudy, grey skies where you couldn't see any blue sky for quite a few years after all this, when the matrix came down on me, or exposed itself to me, depending on what you want to believe. 10 years ago now, these words all